right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening to us. We are so grateful that you are here. We have had an insane week. If you didn't hear, we hit 200 downloads in a week faster than we hit 100 downloads. So we are being speedy. We are being awesome, and it's all thanks to you guys. So thank you all so much. We even have our first listener, Tanner, in the UK. So we have expanded to our European horizons on top.
I don't know how we keep reaching these other countries. I don't get it.
Hey, I'm okay with it.
I love it.
And we have like continuous listeners in Canada. So we have 5 downloads in Canada. So either someone's loving us or someone said, listen to how terrible these guys are. But I'm going to assume
next Barefoot Hub.
Right. I'm going to assume that they just think we're awesome and we're going to go from there. So yeah, 5 downloads in Canada. We have our first download in the UK. And like we say all the time, especially my Canadian friend, if you're listening to this, like DM us on Instagram or whatever. And we want to give you a shout out just to who you're doing. So, but that was the big thing. My name is Parker. I'm here with Tanner. As always, we are doing a fun podcast episode today. A new one, a new series.
All of them are fun.
They're all fun. That's true. But we're just, being lively and just kind of create some bonds, get to know us a little bit more. So new series, we're going to do a Q&A series. I feel like we could probably do this, maybe a couple times a year. Any questions that may come up as you meet us or whatever. Right. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started on that. We're just going to shoot back and forth. We got some really, really good questions. We probably won't be able to answer all of them, but we will answer as many as we can. And we're going to just kind of spit back and forth on that. And then before we get started, just note that we are giving a chance for you to be a guest star on our podcast. So look at our Instagram for details. I'll make sure it's kind of pinned at the top so you can do what you need to do. But yeah, all you got to do is pretty much follow us on Instagram, subscribe to YouTube, all the things that we did when we gave away the cup to good old boy Ethan Howard. That's all you got to do. And then we'll raffle again. And then you can be a guest star, talk to the big boys. So more details on that at the end, but just wanted to kind of introduce that. Now we go into our questions, and I think, are you starting?
I'm first.
Yeah. All right. So Tanner asked me, and then I asked him.
Gotcha. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get right into it. So this question is for you, Parker.
Okay.
Abby Lee says, "What is the best part about your job?"
Best part, honestly, to me, it's just meeting everybody. I mean, I don't think a lot of people can say that they meet hundreds of people like fairly well on every year, right? So I meet probably close to, I don't get to meet everybody in the company. I mean, we have like 1,000 people, but I do get to meet a good amount of people, probably say 200 to 300, and I get to build a pretty decent relationship, kind of knowing like fun facts about them. So just kind of learning everybody and getting to know them and seeing what their aspirations are, seeing how dedicated they are, not even really just to lifeguarding, but just to whatever they're passionate for is a huge thing for me. So that's got to be it for sure.
Oh, I totally relate to that. Yeah.
Right?
And that's only employees. Like you also meet some cool patrons sometimes.
That is true. And man, I had this one patron. He was my favorite guy. I never really, I had no idea actually what he did, but he had like a great job because he would literally just work at the pool all day. So he had like a roaming job back before roaming jobs were really a thing. And he's like, yeah, man, I just work here all day. And he always had a cooler. So he even gave me his numbers. Like, you ever need anything, let me know. And so I forgot his name. And I was kind of embarrassed to admit it. So I just put a beer guy in the pool that he worked at because he always had like a huge cooler beer and he would just work and crush it. So, but he was super, super nice. And we would talk for like 2 or 3 hours. So it really helped a 12-hour shift go by real fast.
Oh, so, yeah.
Big respects to my beer guy. He was super cool. But yeah, I've met a lot of cool people. But for some reason, he's my homie.
Man, that reminds me. My first summer working here, I like when I was just a delivery driver.
Yeah.
I got asked to like go do some monitor hours at what were those pools called? Smaller monitor sites in like West Side. It was like outside Lantana. Do you remember?
No idea.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
thinking of
They had a
anything.
name. It was like 3 monitors. Highland Shores. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, the early bird
Yes.
specials. Yeah,
Yeah.
those were great.
So there was I worked there one day and there was like one guy I met there and it was in September. So there was no like really no people were coming to swim except this guy.
Yeah.
But when he would come into the facility, I would be like so excited because I'm like, there's somebody I can talk to, you know, because like if it wasn't, it's just me like sitting, you know, in a chair at the desk, just kind of like waiting for people.
It's true.
But I honestly kind of felt bad because I'm like, man, he probably wanted to come here. He probably wanted to get away from people. And like,
and now
like,
you're over here like, hey, man,
yeah.
how may you entertain me for the rest of the day?
Yeah, like tell me about what your week looks like. Yeah,
that's funny. Oh, and that one I forgot. I want to mention who they are. So that one was from Abby Lee. So some of these aren't from Instagram. Some of these was a form that we filled out. So that was for Abby Lee. And then I believe I also have one for you from Abby Lee as well. So Abby Lee, to you, Tanner, is what is the scariest experience you've had while working at Barefoot?
Okay. Scariest? I would definitely say last summer I had my first EAP.
Oh,
that was very scary.
How far away were you from the pool?
Oh my! I could not have been farther. Like
that's always.
I was actually helping out. Like I helped out Central by getting a Lantana guard to work in Prosper.
Jeez.
So yeah, for those of you not listening, like you know, may not know like how far that is. That's like easily without traffic. That's 40 minutes.
Yeah, minimum.
And her shift was like I think 4 to close or something like that. Or no, I was going to pick her up. That's what it was. I was going to pick her up from her shift, and her shift ended at 4. So I'm dealing with traffic on the way there. I finally pull into the pool. Like I actually get there and I get a call, and it's one of my leads. And I'm like, I'm not answering that. Like I'm doing something right now.
Right.
As soon as I hit the red button, immediate call back. And I'm like,
okay, the double call, the dreaded double call.
Yeah, like the dreaded double call. So I call, he tells me everything that's going on. And I had to actually call somebody to go out and pick this guard up because I had to go respond. So I drove all that way, get into the parking lot, and I'm texting her like, hey, I'm here. And then I had to like call her back 2 minutes later when she's like basically walking out the facility. And I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. Like somebody will come pick you up here in like, 10, 15 minutes. And I can't remember. I think Gabby ended up helping, or somebody ended up helping with the ride. But yeah, that was definitely a scary experience. And I think that like, EAPs sound scary, and they are, but I think that like after you go through your first one, it's like, I feel like you're going to fall into like a like order of operations when like the next one happens.
Yeah.
That's going to like, it's not going to be so nerve wracking,
That's what that's kind of took me, because I used to, just speed. Like it was just, I got to be there as fast as I can. And
yeah,
I can't remember if it was Charles or Blake, but they brought it to me real simple, which was, how are you ever going to get there in time? Like, even if you're 5 minutes away, EMS takes on average 8 minutes to get there.
Right.
So,
and that's on the, that's like, I feel like that's on the high side too.
Yeah, exactly. I've had some that have been 2 minutes. And so it's like, really, there's not anything that I'm even going to be able to do within that time frame. Like I have to just, kind of do the post stuff, right? The order of operations, like you said. So and that is just based off of, can you train them to feel comfortable doing that? And once I realized that, and that's what, like I said, I can't remember if it was Blake or Charles, but whoever said it, that's what they said is, why are you racing? You should trust your people to like do the save. And I was like, you're right. I just
Yeah.
need to train them so that I can trust them. And once I changed that mind, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's still scary. Like you obviously still feel for them because that's a crazy thing to go through, regardless
Right. Yeah,
of how
absolutely.
well they trained or anything like that. I mean, the post EAP, I guess you can call it. And keep in mind, I've done a lot of EAPs. Like I've been a part of them. And like it wasn't until maybe 2 or 3 years ago that I finally stopped like shaking. You know, people like say you get the shakes, and like I would just get the shakes, and there was literally nothing. I wasn't like scared or anything, but it's just like all that adrenaline, all that emotion, and it
Yeah.
just literally has nowhere to go. And so you just kind of end up shaking. And so I would get the shakes all the time, and people were like, "Are you good?" I was like, "I'm good. I just gotta like give me like 5 minutes to be at
Yeah,
myself
get my composure.
and go."
Yeah.
And so it's like I know what they feel and I know what they're feeling. So I'm trying to get there, but I don't need a sprint to get there, right? Because I know once I get there, I can see how they're doing. I can help them feel better about it. And
Well, as much as we'd want to be everywhere,
yeah,
we can't.
just can't.
You
So
know,
we got to train
unfortunately.
people to be the best. That's why we do train people to be the best, and we can feel comfortable within that. It's good. Yeah, those are hard though. I get it. So that was a good one.
Yeah. Thank you. That was a good question, Abby. But yeah, that was definitely my scariest experience. I think I have one for you. Nicole Oli. I hope I said that right. Nicole Oli.
I think that's I don't know what the question is yet, but that's Nicole Arnold. So she was my AM back in the day. And we're still like really, 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 really good friends. So I'm sure I probably have something bad.
All right. Well, Nicole Arnold says, "What's your worst trash juice experience? And what lesson did it teach you?"
Yeah, it was pretty close. That was pretty close.
Trash juice, eh?
Trash juice. Yes, the dreaded trash juice story. So I was working on a pool. I really won't say what it is because I feel like the pool may feel bad for asking this of us, but it was right as the pools had opened and everyone had kind of done their spring cleaning. Like the neighborhood had done like their spring cleaning. And instead of taking it to the dump, they had like the community had one dumpster that was really just meant for the community and like the pool to throw all their trash out. It wasn't meant for the neighborhood. Like it wasn't meant for neighborhood use. It was meant for the HOA and the pool use. Well, didn't matter. And so Charles calls me and he goes, "Hey, this community is asking if we can kind of pick up the trash. Apparently it's just, you can barely see the dumpster. They want to put it in." I was like, okay, cool. So I'm by the pool and I just decide to kind of see what it looks like, just before I ask. And I'm very grateful that I did because you literally could not see the dumpster. So this is the dumpster that like the truck like puts in the forks and like picks all the way up and slams. So it's a big dumpster.
Yeah.
And you can't see almost any part of it except for the top. And so basically what had happened is that the dumpster, they had emptied it once, but then all that trash that was there, like the trash guy said, "I ain't picking that up by hand." Yeah, so they just laid it back down.
Yeah.
And I was a supervisor at the time. And keep in mind, like I could have had like anybody do this, but I just felt too bad. Like I was like, I got to do this with them. Right. So I called Charles back and I was like, "I'm going to need you to cover for me because this is way worse than you could imagine." And he's like, "All right, cool." So he covers for me. And I get the guards. I was like, "For the love of God, put on shoes and let's do this trash." So we start throwing in the trash and, it's just kind of there. And we do all this. And then there's like one trash bag that's like a little bit stuck. And I'm like, all right, I'll deal with that later. But the downsides is there was not just trash bags, but there was also a mattress that was, let's call it, used pretty well. And it wasn't very sturdy. So I had to I had to like lift up the mattress. I had kind of the guards help me because the dumpster is really high and I'm not the tallest person. I don't know if anyone thinks I'm tall, but I'm not. And so we're all like trying to push it in and it just like is rubbing on my face all the way down. And I'm like, oh. So not only am I having to deal with that, there was something else weird that we had to throw away. But then there was basically just down to like this one trash bag. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so I get this trash bag and I'm like trying to pull. And, you know, and like I've been doing this for like an hour. So I'm not like mouth breathing, dead tired, but I'm tired. My mouth is open.
You're ready to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I go and I just like tugged it and it went and like trash juice just exploded all over my face and it got in my mouth. And when I say whatever you're picturing on how that tasted, it is still worse than that. It is still worse than that. And I would have needed So I'm like dying. The trash is just shriveled up in my head, and I'm like torn between letting this go and running away to like, all right, whatever. Like, so I ended up throwing it away. I ended up getting through with it, and I literally
laughing at you.
I literally just ended up like high fiving the guards. Thank you so much. And I beelined, and I remembered. I don't know why, because I never do, but I had this random bottle, like the little bottle scope mouthwash. And I literally the whole thing like swished around, spit it out, did like as I did until the whole bottle ran out, just trying to clean it all out. It was literally the worst experience of my life. And got trash juice in my mouth as a supervisor. So then I always say, because I do always say this, and I know we say this all the time, there is nothing that we will ask you to do that we haven't done ourselves. Yeah. And I always use this story because if I, as a supervisor, so that's lifeguard, monitor to manager to area manager to supervisor. So 5 ranks got trash juice in my mouth. We can like do whatever, you know, take out the trash, clean out bathrooms, whatever. So I just use that as like a really good story to let them know that I'm here. And I've done crazier things, or not crazier, but I've done similarly crazy clean things as a supervisor, as a director. And it just goes to show like we're never just going to have you do anything that we wouldn't do or have already experienced. And we all have those stories, especially lifeguarding. I feel like lifeguarding just always has those stories a little bit more in depth. But yeah, so that's how
the lesson here is take your time when you're taking out the trash.
Yeah, you know, just give some little shimmies, not He-Man. Yeah, He-Man strength it.
Getting home 15 minutes early is not worth getting trash juice in your mouth.
Yeah, but it wasn't even the guards that did the trash. Like that, the trash was just left by the neighborhood that just cleaned up their house, and so they just didn't want to put it in their dumpsters, or maybe they overfilled their dumpsters, so they went to the HOA dumpster.
Gross.
But yeah, guards, if I find out you leave trash over there, then I'm going to make you do it. But other than that, yeah, it was just a unfortunate experience of spring cleaning in the neighborhood because the community is huge. It's like 5,000 plus homes. So,
jeez.
Yeah, it's a big community. And that's it's a lot of spring cleaning.
Trash juice, yeah.
And that'll get you trash juice in the mouth. So, all right, this one's from Allison Broad. She's my homie. She's super cool.
Yep, shout out Allison.
This is a good one. I like now we're getting to a creative one, so this is good. Although I guess the trash juice was creative. But this one's for you. Would you rather fight... Yeah, I'm going to assume this is a singular 7-foot tall rat. Or a rat, yeah. So one singular,
like cheese.
Yeah, one singular 7-foot tall rat or 100 regular sized rats. I honestly don't
know. Okay, so I'm trying to think about this logically.
That's what I was trying to do.
If I fight any 7-foot man, I'm getting killed.
It's true.
Now, maybe if they're like 7 foot and like my weight now, and they're like super skinny, I might be able to take them. But rats are fat. And rats are dense.
I bet we could look up
Yeah,
how
look
how
up like the
big.
average weight of a rat.
Yeah.
Because
So
I'm
I feel like we
guessing
do need.
some mathematics here.
Yeah.
We need an equation here.
Let's see. Body mass of an adult rat is a pound. A pound to a pound and a half. Let's go a pound.
Okay.
And
And then how
and a
tall
good
is it?
rat is like what, 8 inches?
Well, but that's like length. Wait, hold on. Oh, I guess that counts.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm gonna
that's
go
11
length,
inches.
and
Okay.
we'll call and that way if it's standing up and fighting you, we'll go there. So 8 inches and 1 pound,
But
8 inches.
that still wouldn't be accurate, I don't think.
It'd be
Like
close.
because a pound to because 8 inches, you stand that up. That's how many of that is in 7 feet? That's like
So 12 times 7,
a
so
little
that's
bit, maybe
84
like
feet.
12.
And then we divide that by what, 8? So that's 10 and a half. Yeah, times 10 and a half. And then we just times that by, what did I say, a pound and a half? That's not right. All right,
Yeah,
never
see,
mind.
I don't think there's an equation for this. I think
There
this
is.
just
I just can't. I need like at least 20 minutes to figure out the equation. I know I can figure out the equation, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't
Okay,
have it on me. But yeah, let's say.
like
maybe. I mean,
think
that's just
that
long. It's just a long rat. So honestly, maybe it's not that big. Let's say 60 pounds.
7 feet. Could you imagine a 7-foot crocodile? And that's
Yeah.
a small crocodile.
Man,
And crocodiles are huge.
yeah, I don't know, man. Let's go.
Like,
I don't know.
laying down doing like push-ups. I look
Although
at
I
myself
do
in the
feel
mirror and
like
I'm like, wow,
crocodiles
I'm tall.
are big, but let's see how much does average crocodile weigh? Oh my gosh, males get huge.
Yeah. Like what, 12 or something? Not
Let's
quite.
see. I'm trying to find. It's all in kilograms. Can weigh between. Can I just get like the actual average? Oh, about 1,100 pounds.
Dude. Oh my gosh.
That's 17 feet though. So if you
Okay.
have so 500, so let's say a 400-pound rat, a 400-pound rat.
That's ridiculous. A 7-foot, 400-pound rat. Okay. I think personally, 100 is a lot. 100 of anything is a lot.
Yeah.
$100 is a lot. 100, like we were just talking about knowing a lot of people with barefoot. Like we know more than 100, but like not that much more.
Right.
And we know a lot of people.
It's true.
I think I would take the 7-foot rat because I think that 100 rats, especially if I'm in a closed setting, like if I'm in a room, right? 100 rats are going to overwhelm me.
That's true.
Like I'll get the first 15 no problem with like kicks and like.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
whatever.
it doesn't seem like you have weapons in this scenario too.
Yeah.
So it
kind of sounds like it's like a like a closed, like you're in like a cage. Like I'm thinking like UFC, like cage match style, you know?
Yeah. I think the 7-foot makes sense because then you're basically you got to take its back. Jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to get jiu-jitsu in here, but I did. I got jiu-jitsu and one of the craziest things you could ever imagine. So take that.
I think I'm tiring that dude out. But I got to tire him out, and then once it gets to back. Once I see, any kind of let up in his like energy. I mean, are rats like, I don't know, are they like what's the word? Like do they have good cardio? Are they like in shape?
I just feel like they're
gross. Like
I do feel like they probably have lower than average cardio, but their strength is at like normal size rats can bite through like metal.
Ooh, yeah, dude. Could you imagine a 7-foot rat? Like if a 7-foot rat bites me, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Anywhere. It's like severing arteries.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely don't want to get by a 7-foot rat.
But I still think he's the best bet.
I think so, because he would be slower.
Yeah.
And if you go like cut the angles, I feel like you would have to run around, because I mean that's a lot to run around on all fours too. That's why they say like when you're getting chased by an alligator, you run sideways. So I feel like the same math. It's honestly amazing how much a crocodile and a 7-foot rat have in common. So there's the correlation. But yeah, you just run sideways, run around,
tail.
And then make it tired, and then take its back, choke it out, done.
Okay, so if anybody listening to this podcast has a way to set this up, let's do it.
Survival tips from Parker and Tim.
Don't get close to a 7-foot rat. That's a really good question. Thank you, Austin. That's awesome. Okay. But to answer, I think 7-foot rat. I think I'm throwing hands.
Makes sense. I'll take it.
Just like that.
All right, what do I got?
I didn't even see it coming. Okay, cool. Moving on. I think I have one for you. And I think this one will be a little shorter. This is from M_MMCB. I'm not sure if you know that person.
Couldn't tell you.
We might.
We'll see.
But they asked, did you keep the Parker flag?
Well, it's someone from PCR. I know that much. So people at PCR, they made a legitimate flag, like a normal, whatever the normal flag size is. I don't know. Probably about a 3x5 foot flag of my face. So
fathead?
Yeah, it was like a fat head. It was just a giant flag of my face. Nice. It was a good photo though. It was the one where I won gold at a jiu-jitsu competition. So, and I always liked that one because it kind of reminded people that I have a hobby where I enjoy hurting people. Like that's the hobby. So if they misbehaved, I'm like, look, man, I like to hurt people for fun.
Yeah. Like I do this casually, dude.
Yeah, I just do this for fun. So, but yeah, it was it's a good pick, and it was a good day. But to answer the question, I did not. I did take it home. I kept it in my car for a little bit, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to keep this ever. So I didn't keep it. Sorry. I apologize, but I just didn't want it. I don't know what to tell you. Get off my back. All right, now I got to go through the other questions here. I got to find you.
Well, I got one right here. I got one for you.
Oh, okay. Ooh, back to back. Hang on, let me stretch out. I wasn't ready.
Yeah. This one is from Sophie.
Okay.
She asked,
hi, Sophie.
Do you still believe in second chances?
Yeah, always. So it's actually why I like Barefoot, is because we're very, very second chance heavy. You know, there are something, you hit a patron. Sorry. Like I can't keep you. But I love Barefoot because of how much we take the time to figure out, hey, what's going on? I think we talked about this in our last episode. Like, what's wrong? How are you doing? Like, let's see what is actually happening in your life before we see what led to this mistake. Right. So yeah, I absolutely believe in second chances. I got one, and that weighed heavy on me. So when I knew how rewarding it was, how great I felt getting a second chance, I absolutely believe in giving second chances. Now, third or fourth chances, maybe not, pending. But yeah, second chances for sure. I think, to not offer a second chance is to not feel it,
it's to give
human.
Up
yeah, right. And it's the Bible quote that I always like, and I don't quote it exactly verbatim, but thou who has not sinned shall cast the first stone. Right. And it's just such a great way to explain it. Like, we are human, and if you're perfect, then fine. Maybe you don't have to give a second chance. But I think it's very important that everyone gives second chances. Now, you lay down stipulations, you lay down what you want to see, you communicate this. But if you do that, yeah, you should absolutely give a second chance. Like I said, I got not even one, I got numerous of them that have all impacted my life. That I was like, man, I wish I could get the second chance. And I always hated when I didn't get the second chance, and I always loved when I did. So the best thing that I can do, knowing that, is to always try and give people second chances. Like I said, if you punch a patron, there's not much I can do for you. You know, that's out of the way. But personally, even on a personal level, I could still give you a second chance from me specifically to that person. So I think it does kind of battle between like a company, you know, and running a company and having to make those tough decisions. But as a person, I can always give that second chance. And actually, it was crazy.
Well, I think context matters, you know.
And it was crazy. Like I had to let someone go last year, right? And I was talking to one of their friends, and you know, because I felt terrible because they were, you know, really, really good, and, you know, hit a weak moment, and it was just one of those things. They didn't hit a patron, but it was one of those things where I had to let go. I couldn't work around it, and you know, I was like, man, I feel terrible. Like I hope they don't hate me for like having to let them go. And they're like, no, they like still love you. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And so then that person actually ended up reaching out to me the other day and just wanted to say like, hey, like I really appreciate you for everything you did. You know, I understand like what had to happen, and you know, just know that like if I ever see you, like I don't have any hard feelings. And so it was really cool to know that even like when I couldn't give a second chance, like the personal relationship, that second chance is still there, and we're able to still do that. So that meant a lot to me. So I heavy believe. All right. That was a good one. I like that one. Thank you, Sophie. Yeah. All right, Tin Man. This is a good one. I knew this was going to come up. I don't know if it's going to be you or me, but I knew it was going to come up. I'm glad it's you, honestly, because I couldn't think of mine. What is your biggest fear?
Spiders.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can agree.
Spiders are. I can't deal. We at one of my pools last summer, we had a black widow nest in their like drain system, and you could like literally almost like see them scurrying like through, like, it's hard to explain because it's like it was a splash pad, and it had like, you know how it has usually splash pads have like the grates, that you can like see under, and it's like the drainage system. That's where they were. And like if you shined a flashlight down there, you could like sometimes see them. And I had to call like pest control, I had to call all these numbers, but when like the guards out there or the manager would call me, I'd be like, first of all, I trust you. Second of all, do not send me pictures. Okay? Do not send me videos. I trust you. Okay. If I need pictures, I will just tell the the pest control, like, just come out and see for yourself. Just trust us, please. Because I'm like, man, a picture of a spider, it like makes my skin crawl. Like, I don't know if y'all can relate to this at all, but like if you ever like see like a bug or something, and you'll like instinctively feel it on your legs, you know, but it's like nothing's really there. That's like the same feeling. If I watch like, hey, there's a good movie by Jake Gyllenhaal called Enemy, I'm pretty sure. And it's a great movie, but the last scene is a huge spider in the room. And I'm like, 1 star. Like, great movie all the way through. But because of that, they just had to throw that in there. 1 star. You're in it. Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Nice. I've never heard of this movie.
It's pretty good.
Oh my god, dude. Dude, right? I just saw a picture. I am never watching that movie ever.
Right? Holy. It's insane. And it like, I'm telling you, there's not a single like symbolism of spiders like the whole movie. And then you see that and you're like, oh, awesome.
That is terrible, dude. That reminds me of, you ever go to Universal, like Harry Potter World?
No, never been.
So do you know, have you read the Harry Potter books, seen the movies or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the big giant spider,
in all the
right?
movies.
Which is definitely the worst scene of the entire series.
Oh, yes.
But it gets so at Universal World, they had like this Harry Potter world, which is pretty more like interactive. It's not like a roller coaster. It's just one of those like you kind of move around, you kind of do roller coaster things, but mainly you're just doing interactive of parts of the movie. And still scares me. So one of the scenes, they turn you and you're in like the Forbidden Forest or whatever. So they turn you one way, I think to like look at the car. I don't remember. But then they turn you the other way. And not only is it the giant ass spider right there looking in a face.
Like big one.
It spits on you.
Wow.
So I was like,
yeah. It sounded like I'd like crap my pants, honestly.
I just died. And we rode it a couple more times because it was a good ride, but I would just close my eyes the entire part of that. I would just know. And I was like, oh God, that is the worst.
I just imagine you being there with Casey with her like her hand covering your eyes, like protecting you.
I respect the spider, man.
Is your wife scared of spiders at all?
Nah, she kills them for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a true relationship.
Although now that I got the salt gun, I'll go ham on some spiders with the salt gun.
You're like, tell your friends.
Dude, I'm like, watch this. And pop. So that makes me feel better. Dude. That makes me feel better. But it's terrible.
Yeah, that was a good question, though. Good question. That
was a good one.
And that was from Elias.
Elias, yes.
And I think he had one for you.
Ask me one, yeah.
This is a good one. What was your most humbling moment? And you can't say the trash juice.
Trash juice one, that's pretty humbling. I'm not gonna lie.
That is pretty humbling.
So actually, one of my most humbling moments. I tried to say humblingest, and I was like, that's wrong.
Most humblingest.
I want to say I was an area manager, but I might have been a supervisor. But my sister was working for me, and she was 15, so she needed a ride. My parents weren't going to be home, or had to do something, whatever. And she lived like 5 minutes from the pool, and it was in my area, of operation. So I was there anyway. And I go in and I'm like talking. I guess my family was home. I think they were just like busy or like doing something or waiting for somebody, like the air conditioning guy or whatever. But I'm talking with them, and I was like, we got to go. And I was like, nah, it'll be fine. She goes, I really, because you're late, you got to swim, right? You got to swim, you got to do push-ups. I was like, it's fine, dude. Don't worry about it. And so I'm talking, then I get a phone call, take the phone call and whatever. And lo and behold, like I really am just stalling at this point. Like I'm not really in the rush to take her to work. And so I finally take her to work, and she's like a minute or two late. The phone call took longer than I expected. And she was like, right, now I'm going to have to swim. I was like, no, you're fine. I'll just, like, you're my sister. They're not going to worry about it. And so I drop her off. I leave. I go to another pool. And like halfway there, she goes, yeah, I had to swim. Or the managers make me swim. And the manager's name is Crystal. I give her a massive shout out because she's a beast. And she's probably one of the best managers, like even to this day. That's how good she was. And I shot her a text. I was like, hey, please don't make Abby swim. That was my fault. Right. Like, it's not her fault. She was trying to get me there to go early. So I have no choice. And she responds and she goes, so when other 15-year-olds are late, and would you have made them swim? Like if their parents made them late? I was like, dang, like I probably would have, Yeah. And I was like, I can't just play the status card because she's my sister. And so then I had this, one, it like put me in my place. Like I'm not just this almighty, boss figure. And I love that my manager, my person that I tell, technically I'm supposed to tell what to do. They're the ones saying, hey, like, do you really think this is right? So it was a huge humbling moment from like someone below me, from a very powerful, like woman figure. Like I said, her name's Crystal. This story will resonate with me for the rest of my life. Super, super cool. And it brought just 100% realization to what I actually need to stand for. And so I apologized to my sister. I'm like, I am so sorry. Like, I will
Yeah.
never be late ever taking you to work ever again. And I just give Crystal massive credit for doing that for me, because it's true. I can't change the standards. I can't change the accountability level, regardless of who it is, especially my own sister.
Right.
So never did it again, but it was a great little experience. So
Nice.
thank you, Elias, for bringing that one up, and then thank you, Crystal. I hope you're doing super well. I'm sure you are, but big shout out to you. All right, this one's a no-namer. I don't know who asked this, but this is a good one. I really think for you, Tanner, because you do this so well. So let's see how you do it. What's your advice for building strong relationships with others?
That is a good question. I think it's very much like a skill that you need to like work on. Like
Right.
I think that in like today a lot of people take it as, oh, I'm not a people person, or like, oh, I just don't connect well with people.
Yeah.
And like I think that it's not necessarily something that you're like given, right? Like from birth. It's not like a birthright. It is something that you kind of work on and practice in multiple conversations and like putting yourself out there. I think like something that really helps me is like actively listening, right? Like actively listening and bouncing off of what you hear. And like, so in a basic sense, right? Like when you see somebody and you're like, hey, how are you doing? You know, and you don't necessarily know them, the right response, and like the response that almost everybody gives is good, how are you?
Right.
Right. And then that's usually where like the interaction and connection like ends.
Yep.
But I remember when I worked before this job, when I was working pizza delivery, my manager there, his name was Hamza. Shout out Hamza. He told me this thing. He was like, you should have a script when you're going up there. And I was thinking he meant like an actual like written down piece of paper script. And he was like, no, but have kind of like different ways that the conversation can go in your head already when you're going up there. So for example, like you go up to the door to deliver a pizza, right? You're like, hey, how are you doing? You know, got an order for Parker, right? Then you'd be like, yes, yeah, how are you doing? You know, good, whatever. We get through the formalities. And then he would tell me, he'd be like, pick one thing that you see to talk about. Now, it can be his shirt, it can be his shoes, it can be the way the front of his house looks, it can be how his lawn looks, but something to like bridge into another conversation. And like I think with us, that's a good thing with like patrons coming in, right? When they're coming in for sign in, there may be some patrons who don't want to talk to you, right? Like there may be some patrons who come in, they want to sign in, they want to go sit by the pool.
They just want to go.
And that's it. They want to be left alone. Right. But I do think that that's in the minority. I think that a majority of people who especially come to our pools, they appreciate when we care. They like appreciate when the conversation goes more than, hey, how are you doing? Good. How are you? Good.
Yeah.
You know, like that, while that's good. And that's like proper, you know, etiquette of talking to people, expanding on that, you know, so that the next time that person comes in, you're not starting with, hey, how are you doing? You're starting with, hey, good to see you. How is, you know, oh, like, you know, the Cowboys lost last night,
right,
or, you know, whatever it is, right? Whatever you connected on before.
You can bring it back.
Yeah. And I think like this kind of sounds like I'm saying it as like a tactic, and it started that way.
Yeah.
But that has become the way that I interact with everybody. Like that's the way I interact with people I just meet out. That's the way I interact with people I meet on the job, you know, guards of mine. Like, everybody. It's like, and that's like, you're never going to know when you're going to meet, that person, like whether it's your wife, your husband, your next boss, your next whatever. So what you can control is how you appear in that conversation, and like how you do in that conversation. Now there's going to be some people who you try to connect with who don't want to connect. And
Yes.
that's fine. Like that's totally fine.
This
like,
was me. And it's not like I don't, it's just you're gonna have to work really, really hard.
Yeah.
That's how I be.
Yeah. And it's like, and those people, that's like, I think like with you, and like we've known each other for a long time now. So we're like past that, like, hey, how you doing? Good.
Well, I also
That's not how our
would say,
conversations go
to
anymore.
give you credit, like it was really easy to like you. And it's kind of like weird to say, but I really think it's because of what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't just, cool, we work together. Nice to meet you. Thanks. I mean, every time we interacted, I remember the first time I met you, it was at storage, and you were trying to find whatever stuff, right? And
Yeah.
you had
Dude, it was
all these
something
random,
so
like,
simple.
you just have all these like random small bins of like, yeah, this is for this pool, this is for this pool, this is for this pool. She's like, I'm trying to create an organization system, but I can't find this. I was like, oh, it's right there. So I give it to you. And then you just started talking, and I don't really remember what we talked about, but I remember you asked questions about me, like not about work, not about,
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously asked like, where's the stuff at from time to time, but you just asked me questions about me and, what was my life like? How did I enjoy barefoot?
Right.
It started off like that, and it was always just work questions and stuff like that. I think maybe, it was pretty much work, but as I kind of go back and think about it, but then like the next time, yeah, we had more to talk about. And then, very quickly discovered you like basketball. So then because that's what really is for me, is I don't really know what to ask. Right. And now I do, but back then, so, I mean, this is years ago, I had no idea what to ask, what to say. So I just didn't talk. And I just remember like when you started doing that, I then was like, well, now I need to learn about you, right? You're learning about me. Might as well learn about you.
Right.
So I found your love for basketball, found your love for sports. And then, yeah, I just felt like we always just kind of had these random little small side chats. And then after that, it was just, just boom, done. Like, it was probably one of the easiest friendships that I ever made, because I didn't even realize I had made it until like all of a sudden, like, we're giving each other a hug. We're like, love you, brother. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
no,
yeah.
for sure. I mean, and I think like, it's very much like, I think that people, and you may even say, oh, this isn't me, but I think that like people naturally like to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, that's like, I love that. Like, that's like awesome. I think that you should express yourself, and you should get like things out, because like that's the only way, to be happy, I think.
Well, I think what helps, is maybe not even thinking that it's talking about yourself, but it's just that we know ourselves. Like, I can answer, like, ask me a question, right? I'll be able to answer it. And I think that's just really what it is it's not so much that I want to talk about myself, but at least I know what to talk about when I'm talking about myself, if you give me the questions, right? And so that's what it is I have opened up the comfortability where you just have to talk about you, right? And if you don't know you, at least on what you like, what you don't, whatever, then may be harder to get through. But you can always ask those certain questions, those like follow-ups, and what are you good at? How did you get there? That's what I always say is, most of the time, one of the best relationship things that you can build is by not necessarily associating and building that similarity, but actually asking something you know nothing about. And then you're like, oh, like, because now it's like, oh, I need to learn more. I want to learn more. So then I ask more questions, but then I get to ask my question, then I get to listen. And like you said, we all just want to be, it's true. Like, we all just want to be heard. We all just want to be listened to. It doesn't matter if it's not about expressing emotions or anything like that. Like, we want to be heard when we're frustrated. We just want to be heard in general. We want to make sure that like people actually have intent to care about what we have to say. And when you do that,
naturally
works.
Yeah. People want to connect, like, and nowadays it looks different because it's like mostly social media and it's on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're on the internet and you're leaving a comment on a TikTok, you're talking to somebody.
Yep. Well, and
You
that's
know,
why
like
people are like, oh, I gotta do that again. Like I
yeah,
got the interaction.
yeah,
It's good.
yep.
That was good.
Cool. That was a good question. Very good question. And I think they're asking you. Yeah, they're asking you one, and they got one more for me at the end. Um,
I like yours.
if you could, huh?
I like yours. I'm very excited for yours.
Yeah, yeah. If you could live by one motto for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I'm gonna like string like 2 or 3 into one giant one, and y'all can get over it because it's my question and my rules.
Our
So
podcast, yeah.
yeah, I'll do what I want. Make your own
Yeah.
podcast if you want to follow better rules. But what I would say is try to be your best every single day, regardless of the emotional, physical, or mental disabilities that you have. So I kind of string it all in there because sometimes the best that you can do is literally just get out of bed. And,
Yeah.
and that's fine. But that means you now know what you have to be tomorrow, right? If I got out of bed today, then tomorrow I need to get out of bed and I need to shower,
make breakfast,
make breakfast. Yeah, cook myself, eat something, right? And then I know, okay, that was my best. So I'm always just trying to be my best, regardless of, emotional damage. I'm super upset, whatever, regardless of if I'm hurt, right? Doctor always says like, oh, rest this for 6 weeks. But really rest is the only reason they kind of say that. And if some doctor wants to like, you're leading the people the wrong way, whatever, I'm take it or leave it. But they only say rest because a lot of people tend to overdo it. And so the easiest way to tell people to underdo it is say, hey, don't use this at all. But in reality, if you hurt yourself, like obviously depending on the level of degree that you're hurt, but you should still be kind of moving a little bit, right? Work it out a little bit. You stretch it out a little bit. And so you can't let these hindrances stop you. Right. If I have a disability, ADHD, or if I'm OCD, I shouldn't let that hinder me from being the best. I just need to find a way to be the best at that, right? Dyslexic people, there's a lot of really well-known people that are dyslexic that did not allow that to be a hindrance. It is a hindrance. Like it's difficult for them to read. It's like an algorithm. I had one guy, I saw a video of him and talk about how he read and the amount of mental strain he explained it just to read one page was absolutely insane. But it doesn't hinder him, and he doesn't allow it to hinder him. And I think a lot of us kind of want to fall into the, oh, well, I'm not tall enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not willed enough. I have no discipline. I'm hurt. Right. And why let that stop you? And it should just motivate you further, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because now you're not the best at something, so you can be the best at something. And you should do this for anything. It should be the best on your performance for yourself. It should be the best friend that you can be, the best sibling that you can be. Like, just always try to be the best. You may not hit that every single day, and it's not expected, but you should always try, and you should always have the mentality, because disabilities are going to be a thing. Emotional hurt is going to be a thing. Mental stress, all this stuff is going to be a thing. Anxiety is going to be a thing. Like, everything is going life. That's life. That's what there we go. That is life. Life is going to try and tear you down one way or another, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. Like, whatever way it's going to do that. And if you just let that be like, okay, this is the way it is, this is my life now, then you're never going to really find that fulfillment. That success that you're looking for. But if you're like, okay, you just hit me with like $50,000 of debt, cool, guess I'm working a little bit extra, like, okay, like I just lost a loved one. I'm going to do everything in their name, everything to make sure that they're not forgotten about. Right. Okay. I hurt my arm. Well, I guess I'm going to work on my other arm. Like, let's learn how to write with this guy. Let's slowly get this back into play. It doesn't matter how hurt you are. What matters is that you channel that pain I think you need to do two parts with it. You need to understand where the pain's coming from, why it's happening, and then you need to channel it to, again, be the best at what you're trying to do. So regardless of anything, don't let anything stop you. The only person that stops you at the end of the day, and I think you kind of mentioned this last podcast, the only person that stops you at the end of the day is yourself. The only one that's looking out for you is yourself in the end, right? And we hope to gain this inner circle to have that support in case we do fall too short. But at the end of the day, no matter what, you always have yourself, and you can always be the best version of yourself. And once you can really start with that mentality of being the best version of yourself, regardless of how you're feeling and regardless of what's going on in your life, you will be fine. You know, and like I told you, I was in like a huge like life crisis for 2 to 3 weeks, but I don't think you really knew that, right? And you didn't like see me lashing out on the fact that I was so lost and confused, because I still had to be my best. You know, I wanted to be a good friend for you. I wanted to be a big support in this podcast for everyone else that's listening. You know, I wanted to be good in making sure that no one fell behind in my job. And did I hit every measure? No, but I never let my lostness, I guess, that confusion inhibit me or take control of me to the point where I just didn't do anything and sat around and did nothing. Yeah. So, and if it does, again, like I said, if only you can do is just get out of bed, like that's fine. Then get out of bed. I like that. But get out of bed and make food, right? Because usually when we're sad, we don't eat, right? So get out of food, get out of bed, make food. And then get out of bed, make food, and go spend time with someone. Whatever. Go work out, right? Do something back. Bring yourself back to society.
Yeah.
Woo, that was a good one. I wish I had a name for it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate whoever that was.
Yep.
Oh, I have yours. That's right. This is my favorite one. So I didn't have to worry about bringing up jiu-jitsu earlier because this is brought back again. All right, Tanner. The real question, I think probably the most important question of this episode, is when are you going to start jiu-jitsu so that you can take me on?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I think maybe next off season. But this is like, I mean, like how long, like if you just stopped doing jiu-jitsu, right? Mm-hmm. Like when I started next off season, how long would it take me to catch up?
I think if I stop for,
like, I'm saying you just stop until I catch you.
Probably like 2.5, 3 years.
Ooh, yeah, it's a lot. But
what I will say is you can, even if I don't stop, you start, you will still get more and more competitive, even though that gap time is different. Like at some point, what's going to happen is when you're a white belt, I will wreck you. It doesn't matter. Like that's just kind of like life as it is. Yes, like I'm not really afraid of white belts at this point. Some are a little bit more annoying because they go like 1,000%. And I don't want to go 1,000%. Like I'm very lazy when I jiu-jitsu. I know a roll, I guess, would be a better way of saying it, but just so in case people don't understand terms, I'm really lazy. I just want to do what I want to do, and I'm only going to do it when you're going to allow me to do it. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of be there, right?
Yeah.
So the people that give me the hardest time are usually the ones going 1,000%, but it doesn't mean that like I'm going to lose to them. It just means I'm annoyed, and then I'm generally
it's going to take longer.
Probably my favorite move for those people, which is a good old fashioned knee on belly, where I just shove my knee into your stomach until you settle down. This is my.
You're not really selling me on taking jiu-jitsu.
Well, don't go 1,000% on me. We'll be fine. But so I go back. So we have this guy. His name is Jackie, and Jackie is overall like I honestly kind of want to bring him on this podcast because this man, I think he's like 26, maybe less than, is extremely, extremely successful money wise, extremely, extremely successful jiu-jitsu wise, and probably just extremely successful just as a human. I don't know too much about him, but this man has done like incredible things at 26 years old. He is a blue belt, just got his blue belt maybe 6 months ago, and is already getting mistaken for a purple belt.
Wow.
He has this beautiful house over, I won't tell you where he lives, but near where I live. Has this
Yeah, make sure you
beautiful.
get the street
Yeah, let me get the
address,
address for
number,
Jack. Everyone
his license plates.
take him out. But he has this beautiful house. He's got a Tesla. Opens up the door. Door opens for him, closes for him. I saw that. That was so wild to me. Like it just opened and he just got in, and then it closed. Like he touched nothing. Just got in his car, started texting.
I thought you meant his garage. Okay.
No, the Tesla. Yeah. Okay. And he's such a good person, man. Like he always like has a smile on his face. Like he's always so kind. He's just a good person. And he's just, like you said, he's super successful all the way around. And I just want to know like how he did it. So anyways, but I backtrack. So the point was, Jackie, I guess I love you. Don't tell Casey. But the point is the fact that he's already getting mistaken for a purple belt, right. And he is probably one of my hardest roles. And I am like a good year and a half ahead of him, but he's already learned so much of the concept that it's really hard for me to win. Now, can I win? Yes, but I will lose. And that win is a fight. So I think that's what I'm kind of coming at with is that concept is like, as you get better, as you get your blue belt, as you start embracing these concepts, you're still going to be difficult, even if I'm a higher belt than you. Right. And you still may even catch me from time to time too, as long as you just kind of stick with it. But if you wanted to get exactly matched where we grew up the rest of our lives in jiu-jitsu together, I would have to take about 2.5, 3 years off, and you would have to go for 2.5, 3 years. Roughly.
Right. It's very interesting. Like it's I know this is like, it's going to sound like I'm just like talking on the podcast, but like I have thought about it. Like it is really cool to me. It's interesting to like, cuz I'm a big fan of the UFC and like seeing all the different fight styles clash, and something like jiu-jitsu is like one of the more overpowered ones. Yep. Like wrestling, like Khabib, he was undefeated. Nobody even came close to touching him because he would take everything to the ground.
Yep.
And nobody could hang with him. And he dominated everybody he fought.
It's true. Now Khabib's a freak of nature, so
yeah, true.
Take it as he can, but yeah, I mean it's true.
It helps that he's been wrestling bears since he was like 6, but yeah, it just kind of shows that fight style is like really, really good.
When it was cool, I had one of the schools I went to, Gracie Jim Richardson, the owner, his name is Mike. Super cool dude. That guy is just like the entrepreneur, the salesman. Like he just has that personality, loud, always talking, but he's super friendly. And he was talking about when he got started with jiu-jitsu, and he got super intrigued. I mean, I think Mike got his black belt in like 6 years, did something crazy as an older guy. Like he's only like 45, 46. Wow. And so as he was doing, he was like, yo, I want to get, like, I really do want to see like this super black belt in karate go against this black belt in jiu-jitsu. And so they brought him to the jiu-jitsu school and they just had like a fun round and they started standing up, equal fight. And right as the jiu-jitsu guy the black belt took down the karate black belt and they started there, he was like, I literally don't really know what to do. Like he was like, all the years he's done karate, moment it got to the ground, he's like, I have like general concepts here. Like he understood create some distance and stuff, but like he's like, to counter any of these moves, like it's above my realm. So if he could keep it standing, right, then he could keep it standing. But it is crazy. And it's not to say that jiu-jitsu is better than karate, because I bet if that karate dude kicked jiu-jitsu guy in the head, you're looking at a different story. It's just crazy that like you can kind of wheedle out of the stand-up game and go to the ground game, and how few people really know the ground game to that degree. So like I guess a better way to put it is, you're not going to see me trying to start fights. You're not even going to see me initiate or what. Like fighting is going to be the last option for me. Like I'm going to run.
Right.
I'm going to be very frank with anybody. I'm going to run unless my wife is in danger or someone I love is in danger. Like I'm running.
Or your dogs.
Yeah. Or my dogs. I will mess you up if you mess with my dogs. But it's so funny, like how serious I get on my dogs. But But yeah, otherwise, like I'm gonna run, and I'm good. Like I'm confident in my skills, and I'm still not gonna throw fights. But it is nice
it's
to
like you're not
know.
running in fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I'm gonna be intelligent about it. But I also know,
Yeah.
like, worst comes to worst, like I'm gonna give it my best, and I'm probably gonna give some difficulties at minimum.
Yeah.
It's fun.
We're running late. Do you
I'm-
want to do like one more each, and then we
What do we
can
have?
part 2 this?
Yeah, we still have a lot more. So let's. All right, I'm gonna
We
find.
could just part 2 it. Up to you.
I'm gonna find the best one.
I
and
want
then
to.
we'll
I know
save the
which one I
rest.
want to do
Okay,
because I have a really good story for it.
let's see. All right. No, I'm not doing that one. That one's kind of good. Ooh. I'm gonna go this one just because it's my homie. And it's my turn to ask you, right?
No, because that last question was the jujitsu one for me.
Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. No, I took over. Shocking. Parker talked too much. Okay. All right. So
Just a Parker tangent. Yeah, we've never seen.
Hit me with your best shot. Yeah, it never happens.
Is there anyone you? Let's see. Let me find a good one for you.
Yeah, I'll just let you find me a good one.
Okay, I got a really good one. All right. Would you rather fight 10 bears the size of a bulldog?
Oh. It's like
or one bulldog the size of a bear? And this is from Ace.
Ace, my boy Ace, dude.
Shout out Ace, man.
Man, we got to the so we got different animals.
Yeah.
So I got a bear the size of a bulldog. Are we going English? English bulldog?
You got 10 bears the size of a bulldog.
Oh.
Or one bulldog the size of a bear. And we'll call it we'll say the smallest breed of bulldogs. So I think that is the English one.
Could go French, but I'm not doing French. I'll go English. I feel like that's the most realistic of this, not realistic scenario.
What do you mean? This is totally real.
I think because bears are aggressive, like for the most part, unless it's like the sun bear.
It depends.
You should, for anyone, look up sun bear, and you will see that that's probably not the most aggressive bear in the world. It's probably
panda bear.
It's probably pandas. I feel like are actually pretty aggressive. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Don't quote me on. I'm not a zoologist or anything, but you know who is a zoologist is Shaq, right? Isn't he? Zoology was his doctorate. Yeah,
like Shaquille O'Neal.
I think so.
I don't know.
Google. I gotta Google this because let's see. Shaq's PhD degree. Oh no, ED and human resources. Oh, human resource. What the hell? All right, whatever. I guess that was in the other dimension that I was in at one point in life. I could have sworn it was zoology. It doesn't matter. Anyways, I'm not a zoologist. Neither is Shaq. Sorry, Shaq.
Parker's tired.
All right, what's the question again? One more time.
Okay. Would you rather fight 10 bears the size of a bulldog?
That's right.
Or one bulldog the size of a bear?
You know what's crazy? Because we keep saying, I'm going to go with you. I got to go with, just the one large one. And the only thing is because I was running one day. I was in Tennessee. And Tennessee actually has what you call hills, not like these inclines that you have here in Texas. And there was this French bulldog that just charged me. And I had just started my run. And it charged me right at the base of this hill. Maybe 100 yards before we start going to incline. And I was honestly one of the scariest moments of my life because I was faster, but only sprinting. And I thought that if I slowed down, it was just going to latch onto my calf and just rip me, right? And that was the thing is I didn't think I could turn around fast enough to grab the collar and just pick it up. It's 20 pounds. But that was terrifying. And the fact that there's 10 of these, and then granted they're English bulldogs, which are a little bit more lax in the apartment. Obviously, like they're aggressive, they're fighting me. So I just don't think I could do that. I think I would just get mauled. Whereas the one bulldog the size of a bear, I feel like that's fine.
I feel like I feel like the 10, like you're onto something because you're saying like bears are aggressive.
Yes.
Right. And like you said, that bulldog story was scary, but bulldogs aren't like necessarily aggressive animals. They're not like, what's the word? I'm thinking like a bear is a savage.
Yeah.
Like a bear.
I mean, the claws, I mean, you keep in mind, like their claws are so much
Yeah.
longer than dog claws.
Yeah.
So even though it's a size, like it's still going to be like, if you look at dog claws, like picture something 3 times and they're pointy because they used to climb trees. So they're sharp.
Right.
So,
like a domesticated bulldog, his nails are not nearly as sharp as they were when he was, when his species was whatever, thousands of years ago.
The only thing I have to worry about the bulldog is its bite. Like if it bites me, I lose something. Yeah. But
and a bear-sized bulldog bite, that's like, I wonder because like that's breaking your skull.
Exactly. So I just have to not get bit. But English bulldogs have little legs. Like they're not really going to be the most mobile things. So I think, I just got to do the sideways thing. And I would just really need to figure out, take its back. Jiu-jitsu, the rule of thumb, just take their back.
And bulldogs have very, very weak skeletal back structures. Yep. I know that.
They have breathing issues. So they're definitely, like when we talk about cardio of a rat, the cardio of an English bulldog is way less.
Yeah.
I just gotta get it tired. So I gotta find a way to get it tired, which shouldn't take too long. I just gotta make sure I don't get bit, which should be fine. And then I have to find a way to take its back once it's tired and choke it. And I feel like that'd be the hardest thing because I don't think I could reach around enough to choke it. Like I would have to use
no, I think you could,
like a belt.
It'd be close, but I think you could.
Depends on what time is it hibernating, I guess a dog, doesn't matter. I'm gonna try to get it before eating.
Both of these options are messing you up. You're leaving with bruises and probably a few broken bones and some pretty gnarly scars.
I do live
if you make it out
for the story though, to make the like, hey, this is what it was like.
Yeah, you're like, dude, if anybody asks you this, if anybody ever asks you this, dude, this is the answer.
Yeah, you're not gonna. What are you gonna do? Fight me? I just beat a bear, hopefully, or I didn't, and I still And actually, they had the guy. They had a guy who literally fought off a mountain lion that attacked his brother.
But hey, mountain lions are kind of small.
They're
like not. Okay, hold on. Let me walk that back. I need to walk that back a second. They're not kind of small, but they are they're smaller than a lot of dogs.
No. You're thinking of a bobcat.
Yes. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm okay.
You're thinking of 150 pounds on average. 100. Well, females are light. They're about the size of Bella, the bloodhound.
Okay, I need to retract that entire statement.
The bobcats are super small, and actually I'll look up because that's what I thought too. When I thought
get those out here in Frisco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bobcats are 40 pounds.
The areas that aren't quite yet developed, it's all woods, and that's where all the bobcats that used to live here and would live here freely everywhere, they've been pushed into this little area in Frisco.
Yeah, we have bobcats all the time that are walking around our neighborhood too. So yes, those are only 30, 40 pounds. But the mountain lions are beasts. So a guy took on a mountain lion because his brother was attacked by one, and brother was saved, and he lived.
Jeez, man,
it's good.
Well, that was a really good question, Ace. Like that one a lot.
And that leaves me with your last one.
Yep. For now.
All right. I like this one because you get them all the time. What is your favorite tattoo?
Okay. Um, I would say that it changes all the time. Um, at first, it was my first one, this big arm piece. If you've seen it,
Right.
got
Nice.
that. But I would say that it's actually this one right now.
The skull is good.
Um, because it has a cool story. So, my entire right arm, I'm trying to do like a Halloween like patchwork sleeve because I love Halloween. It's my favorite season. Easily my favorite holiday. I've
Interesting.
been to 2 Halloween parties of yours.
That's true.
You know, I would never miss a Halloween party, man. I love Halloween. I love all the movies, everything. But I'm trying to get a patchwork sleeve done on here, and I'll usually go into tattoo shops and be like, "Hey, do you have any, Halloween like flash art?" And I go into this particular spot in Frisco, and they're like, "No." And I was like, "You guys have to be like the only tattoo shop in all of like DFW that doesn't have Halloween flash art, you know?" And by flash art, if you don't know, I mean like just like the little tiny, like little like pre-made drawings that you can kind of just like pick and get on your body. But like I have like that one. That's one of them. This like skull with like the clown hat. But anyway, I go into the spot. He tells me that they don't have it, and I'm like, okay, well, do you have anything like related? Like I'm in the mindset of getting a tattoo. I'm like, I'm getting a tattoo. I'm leaving here with a tattoo, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I have this game for you. And he's like, you pay $100 for an entry, and you get to roll this 100-sided dice. So 100 sides.
Jeez.
Which, yes, that's real.
Well,
I
like a
didn't think
golf
that
ball?
was real. Yeah, it is basically a golf ball, like with all like and it's like you can actually like tell very easily what it hits. You would think that it'd be hard to tell, but like the way that they made it, I don't know. But 100-sided die, and they're like, here's this book of 100 designs. Okay. And he's like roughly half of them are Halloween, and the other half are just like little art here and there that we picked up. But it's all like it's very different, like it's a lot of variety, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I love games. I'm like, cool, dude, you had me at games. Like, you had me at 100-sided die. I pay this guy $100. Now this is like non-refundable. Like I pay this 100, and I'm like, this is my entry into the game.
Wow.
So I roll it the first time. I don't remember what number I got, but I look in the book, and it's a dolphin. And like nothing against dolphins. I love dolphins, but like wasn't trying to get a dolphin that day. I don't think I could put it anywhere on my body for it to make sense, right? So I'm like, definitely not doing that one. And I roll again. And he tells me now, he's like, once you roll again, you get 3 rolls to do it.
Okay.
He's like, once you roll again, you lose the last option. Right? So he's like, if you go to your last roll, that's a random roll that you have to get on your body. Obviously, I could have just said no.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not getting the dolphin. So I go do the next one. I roll it again, and I get I got something Halloween-y, but I think it was a rose. But it was like a dark rose, and I was like, that's really cool. Like I'm like, I kind of do like that one. I kind of want to get that one, and I could put it a lot of places. Like, but I'm like, man, I got one more spin. Like,
what could it be?
I'm here. This is like a funny story. Like, I'm just gonna roll it again, dude. So I roll this again, and I got this one.
Nice.
And it's funny because it's like perfect. Like it's like perfect with the rest of my arm.
Yeah,
like I have
that's like super good.
This one, and this ghost guy right here. So with the flowers. So I thought that was perfect, man. It like happened just like that, and it was on that third spin, and I could have totally got like
another dolphin.
Like there was like I don't know, it's so many random tattoos in there. I was like, man, if I would have gotten that dolphin again, I just would have been like, take my 100. I'll see you another time.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah, but that's definitely my favorite tattoo right now. But I have a lot of it always changes, But
that's good. Well, that's cool though. Yeah, I do like it's good work. I feel like every time I see you, there's like a little add on to the right arm.
Yep.
Nice.
Eventually, I'll have it all. I'll have that all done, and
I think it took me 4 or 5 years to get just my sleeve done. So yeah, it's
well, now you got the leg sleeve.
do have my bear one. I think that's on our Instagram if anyone wants to see it. It's one of the Mad Rabbit promotionals that we did. Which let's go ahead and segue on through that. That's a good ending. So let's see what cool things that we got going on. Mad Rabbit always. I am the sunscreen I'm about to get, so I'll try to get your review on that. Let you know how it goes because it's apparently 1,000 degrees in Texas, and it's just going to stay that way. So fun fact, Tanner. Yesterday was 15 degrees above the average of what it is at this time. So take it or leave it. We're all going to die. But please use Mad Rabbit, and it's really, really great stuff. Great for tattoos. Highly recommend it. It's like the only stuff that I use now. Like I've already gotten rid of all my other stuff. Casey uses it, but the balm is still the best in my opinion. Absolutely sick stuff. But whatever you use, whatever you buy, body wash, whatever, sunscreen, it's out right now. Just use the code BEAR2024, and you could use it all year round. You can buy 12 different things at 12 different times. You can use it. BEAR2024 helps us go a long way. Helps the podcast. All the money that we make all goes back to the podcast. It just allows us to make the podcast better. So Mad Rabbit's one of them. My own jiu-jitsu school, I don't own it, but I do go there. They are helping us out as well. So, and they're offering particularly to high school students. This is a promo. It's not very long. I think you only have 2 weeks when this episode actually comes out, but they're doing a high school discount, 30% off the monthly fee, which is huge.
Nice,
and if you go to Saxe, Rowlett, Rockwall, or Heath High School, come into the gym, just say you heard us on the podcast, and you'll get 30% off there. So massive discount there. Would love to have you, and you can try and beat me up, which is always a good day. We have a new, yes, technically new. We have a Facebook now. We added Facebook to the realm, kind of for obviously the older people. There's probably like a 16-year-old doesn't even know what Facebook is. So follow us on Facebook if you'd like. Again, that was just more to kind of help anyone that uses, like, me, I use Facebook way more than use Instagram. So
hey, closer and closer to Zuckerberg,
dude.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's right. So we got a Facebook now, TikTok maybe down the road. We'll see how it goes. We'll keep you in there. And then last but not least was the guest star. If you want to be a guest star on a show, we are doing basically kind of a giveaway, I guess is what you can call it. I don't really know what to call it. It's not really a giveaway. I mean, I guess we're kind of giving away the sweepstakes. Yeah. But it's on our Instagram, has all the rules. Like I said, I'll try and make sure it's pinned on kind of on the top one. But if you're following us, you get 5 points automatically. If you follow us, you're new, you get 5 points automatically, 5 entries. If you tag, you get 1 point per tag. If you subscribe to YouTube, leave a comment, you can get 5 points there. So lots of ways to get entries and things like that. If you want to be a guest star, we'd love to have you, love to talk to you. And what the topic will be, I don't know. We got to talk to you, and we want to make sure it's good for you. So we'll talk, all of us together, and we'll make sure that it's good for you. And that's what we'll talk about for the day. So could be funny, could be cool, could be a great story. It's whatever it is. But entry up. You want to be on podcast. You want to be famous with 200 downloads up to 6 countries. Then you can do that. So follow that. And last but not least, one thing I wanted to do. This is something I wanted to do that's new, Tanner, that I thought would be really cool. But I want to give a shout out to everyone that's followed us. Not everyone that's following us right now. It's a lot. But just for like the past 2 weeks, because I've shouted out the people that have done a lot. The people that are following us have done a lot for us, that contribute a lot of us. I've given them shout outs. But we got about 30 followers over this past like week and a half or so. And I just figured it'd be kind of cool. We kind of just talk about just mention you in the podcast and say thank you for following us, and huge shout out. And we'll just do this every week as we get new followers. We'll reach out to them. So real quick, just all the way through. Text Explain. Thanks for following. Tanner. Jesus, dude.
I'm an old soul, dude. I'm sorry.
My God, dude. You're literally the second one from you're like 100. You're like number 130, dude.
I am an old soul. I don't use Instagram. I don't.
Oh,
The only thing I use is TikTok. Which I guess that doesn't really make me an old soul, but
Tanner, thanks for following, man. Really appreciate you.
hey, man, you are welcome.
Couldn't have done it without you. Oh my god, that's probably the funniest thing I've had all week. Kaylee Smith, thanks for the follow. Hannah Rifle, thanks for the follow. Yes, if I butcher it, just get over it. I can't read. That's why I talk, because I can't read. Emma Ortega, thanks for the follow. Dylan's Life. Matt 23. Oh, Matt Labine. I know who you are. I can see your picture. Matt Labine, thanks for the follow. Mitch Stevenson. Jiu-Jitsu Mitch. Bluebelt Mitch, thanks for the follow, man. Timothy Zaman, thanks for the follow. Kate Reese, Globe Misfits. Not sure what y'all do, but appreciate it. Brooke Ann. Hannah Henshaw. I think that's an old name. Thanks for the follow. Valerie Fabi. Quality Artworks. Curious to see how art is good there. I'll check that out later. JC Gomez 1249. Jacob Gomez. See, I can't read. Got to read down below. Claire Depper, thanks for the follow. Tanner Howard, thanks for the follow. Allison Broad, my homie, has been asking all the good questions. Thanks for the follow. And Justin Powell, that's when a buddy of mine just got married. Congratulations on that. And thanks for the follow. So, yeah, I just feel like this would be something cool to do. Get your name out. You want to be famous, by all means, do so.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for the much. As far as Barefoot World, our last LGI training is going to happen before this episode even publishes. So thank you all to all the amazing LGIs that train with us. Look forward to a great training year. Applications are out. So they come out, or at least it will definitely be out by the time that this podcast comes out. So want to work with us, barefoot.net, employment and training, click applications, DFW or Houston, and then just apply. It's like any other applications, nothing new. So nice. Apply like you need to. Like I said, DFW or Houston, barefoot.net. Love to have you. Love to get you on board. The Barefoot Tube, pending. I think we just had to figure out last minute sizes. I know I keep saying pending. I know I keep saying sizes, but this is kind of how things be in this kind of realm. Takes a lot longer than you want it to. But a lot of people test it out. We've gotten a lot of good feedback by it. So we're going to give the final specs and we'll go from there. Other than that, appreciate y'all very much. It was a longer episode. We will do part 2 down the road. May not be right away. Maybe it will. I don't know. But we will let you know. Thank you all so much. Y'all have a good one. Hearts.
Love you
I can never do a good one. I got to do a good one. There we go. Good heart. There we go. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all.
See you guys.